Okay, welcome back, everybody. We just ended our executive session, then followed by a closed session, and we're now coming back into our regular open session. The first up is Economic Development Council with Joe Schmit. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, commissioners. Welcome back. Thank you for having me this morning. For the record, I am Joe Schmit, and I'm here representing the Mason County Economic Development Council. As you guys are fully aware, through your .09 investments, as well as other investments into the Economic Development Council, we're here to talk about economic development in Mason County and also our efforts in recruiting and retaining jobs and industry here in the community. Also, just wanted to mention this is all done by a team of right now 2 staff, Karin Leaf, our business development manager, and Tiana Dunbar, our marketing and communications specialist. I'm in there helping out while we search for the next executive director for the EDC. And I'll just go ahead and get right into our topics, and that is our first topic. As you're aware, our executive director moved on in October of 2023, and we have been on the hunt since the beginning of this year. We've retained Prothman to do the search for our executive director. If all goes well, our fingers are crossed that we are onboarding a new director here in March, mid to late March. And yes, a round of applause and fingers crossed and toes crossed. And please send us anybody if you've got qualified folks that are interested. We would love to talk. So the profile is available on our website, as well as all the major recruiting outlets and social outlets for that, as well as Prothman's website. And I'm happy to circulate that back through the board if that is the desire as well after we meet today. Any questions on that? Very good. Economic Development District has been a hot topic for the last year or so. Been working hard regionally with Thurston, Grays, Lewis on reestablishing the Pacific as well, counties reestablishing the Economic Development District. That is a critical component for pursuit of federal funds. The SEDS is a big part of that as well. On the 12th of January, it was shared with me that articles of incorporation were established through the the Secretary of State's office. And we have a meeting, the partners, the tri-county regional partners, however you want to put it, here at the end of February to talk about process moving forward, how we will coordinate and work together on this year's rendition of the SEDS. So with that, here coming up in the next month or so, you'll be hearing more from us about the Community Economic Development Strategy, also known as the SEDS list. As you guys are likely aware, the SEDS is always ratified annually by you, as well as the Economic Development Council for Mason County. And now our SEDS is rolling up underneath the Economic Development District's overall regional SEDS. So it will be also pretty important this year that we look at that from that regional perspective as well. So looking forward to discussing that in more detail as that gets moving. Moving right along, new website. Big thank you to Jeff Slakey and Rachel Hansen doing good work for us in the community. We have launched a new website. It is still choosemason.com, but a new look and new feel. One of the big components on there for us is the ability to market and advertise available properties and or businesses in Mason County through Zoom Prospector. We have a lot of work still to do on that. It's an iterative process. We're going to build as we go and improve as we go. So we are always open to feedback from you all, as well as our partners on making that usable tool for, especially for, like I said earlier, in our recruitment and retention activities for new business and for growth and redevelopment of existing. So anything we can do there to make that better, more user-friendly, we are all ears. And our primary point of contact on that is Tiana. So anything needed regarding the website, go ahead and reach out directly to Tiana. Moving on down the list here, ADO Grant Writer Program. We are approached through the Department of Commerce. So you may be familiar, a few years back, there was legislation essentially creating a low barrier program for ADOs, EDCs to essentially recruit and hire and retain grant writers, essentially prioritizing distressed areas as well in that program. There will be a grant opportunity to hire the grant writers. We've had some discussions about our intentions to do just that. And we're estimating those costs to be for the fiscal biennia around 175,000 worth of an ask to Department of Commerce. And again, that goal would be to go after any and all grants that meet the needs and or help us develop further projects or help us further understand some of the challenges that we're facing here in Mason County from an economic development standpoint. Again, really excited about this. More and more things in the economic development world in terms of support are being oriented towards communities like ours, and being in a position to reach out and grab those dollars when they're available is something I'm excited and pretty motivated to be part of here with the EDC. So again, right now on that is we're continuing to kind of plan and firm up those costs and determine then what the bulk of work a grant writer would be doing for us. So those are the next sort of phases in that process. All right, moving along. Any questions so far? Excellent. Business recruitment activities. In just the last couple of months, have had the opportunity to host 3 site visits from potential business through Department of Commerce's request for information. We responded to many of them, I'll say, throughout the year. Not all that often do they result in an in-person visit, but we've had 3 in the last month and a half, 2 months. Overall, the 3 projects that we've met with specifically focus anywhere from agriculture to tech and aerospace. Some very interesting tech jobs, tech companies interested in locating in Mason County. The overall capital investment in tallying those 4 organizations up right now is just shy of $2 billion. Project Alfred, sorry, we go by code project names because many of these organizations hold sensitivity to disclosing information about their potential business. So we kind of keep things at a high level, but want to give you as much detail as I can. Project Alfred is a agriculture oriented smart ag with about a $500 million capital investment and bringing about 150 jobs to the community. Another project, Project Arami, is a technology sector oriented job with a very high capital investment of about 950 million to 1.5 billion. 190 jobs bringing to the community. Project Condor, aerospace and technology, 10 to 20 jobs initially for research and development, but potentially up to 100 to 150 jobs. And then the last one, we haven't had the site visit yet, but it is forthcoming. Another aerospace-oriented Project DISC. That's a $300 million capital investment and up to 250 jobs in the community. So just in the last few months, the tire kicking on Mason County is strong. It seems there's a lot of interest to locate here and to bring business here. We've been saying that for many years at the EDC, but the appetite seems to be pretty strong these days. So we're continuing to support these, continuing to work with our partners to court and to showcase the community as much as we possibly can and market the available land and available opportunities that exist in Mason County. It's just incredibly exciting to walk some of these potential project sites, especially with out-of-town entities that have a proven, track history of success. Bringing them into the community is just an awesome thought, and we're looking forward to continuing to push that envelope as much as we can to get that good, diverse industrial and commercial landscape that we've been striving for here in Mason County to keep us all moving forward in the right direction. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about recompete, and then you can open up the door for conversation or question and answer, however you want to roll. But as you guys are aware, we did not get awarded the phase 1 grant for recompete. We were working very, very hard, and we were pretty disappointed by that news. And just as a refresher, that pilot project was aimed to invest about $200 million worth of federal dollars into distressed communities, just like Mason County. Overall, there were 565 applications from 49 states and 4 territories. of those to go after 200 million bucks. Just as a reminder, our total ask was just shy of 55 million total, and 500,000 for that first phase. But overall, 22 finalists were chosen, and out of the overall 225 total plans. So as you can see, the competition was quite steep. Where we fell short were areas, I'll just say, kind of outside of our control. Prime age employment was a significant factor in the determination of who's sort of eligible or who would be awarded the funds for these grants. Quite honestly, Mason County just didn't hit the mark in terms of the national average. We were actually better than the national average. I believe they were focusing around 10% for the prime age employment gap. Mason County is just about 7%. So while we're in rough shape in some situations, not rough enough to be eligible or to at least prioritize higher than others on that. And then, really the other things with our process just kind of gets into the next phase of where we're heading, which is just further analyzing and understanding what is bringing economic distress and what is slowing growth or preventing growth from moving forward in some cases. So focusing in on cluster studies and market studies and analysis of our region, and then building our plans to really come in alignment with those plans. So when we go after these federal asks, things are much more succinct. That's a really quick way of saying that's a many years worth of work and effort and many dollars worth of work and effort that needs to go into that. And that said, we didn't want to, slow down at all after this. We had good momentum going. We have a really strong partnership and stakeholder group. So right now, our consulting firm is working with us to align those projects that we were not successful in obtaining, the overall grant for, with other grant opportunities at the federal or state level, and the schedule and potentially the work that's then associated with putting those proposals together. So that's what the EDC is working on now in terms of that follow-on phase of recompete, along with our partners. So we'll be re-engaging that stakeholder group once we're a little bit more polished. I believe we're going to meet here next week to get that overall plan kind of wrapped up, and then we'll be talking with the stakeholders. So with that, down through 6 items, are there any questions, comments, or things you'd like to talk about from the EDC?
Yeah, Joe, I'll go ahead and start off. First off, thank you very much for stepping up to take on the role that you have. I want you to know that I think your presentation was extremely well done and very professional. And with that, I got a lot of information very quickly, and I, for one, appreciate that.
Thank you.
The idea that we have people coming out, again, looking at things is no surprise. It's been happening forever, but here's the one difference that could happen right now because of the position that you are doing and the position that we have. Nobody ever comes to us with asking the simple question of these organizations, what would it take for you to come here? And with that, the next question is, commissioners, can you do this to help them get there? Council members, can you do this to help them get there? As for the city council, you happen to know a guy. You also happen to know girls, but here at this commission, you got a guy and a gal here as well. If somebody will ask that question, maybe we actually can catch a few of those. So again, I want to thank you for doing that. And that was my only 2 cents that I wanted to add. And I look forward to any opportunity that may come up with us to actually do the changes necessary to sync one of those.
Absolutely.
Commissioners. Commissioner Trask?
Yeah, Joe, excellent presentation. I really appreciated that. And I too want to thank you for the leadership that you've shown over the past few months. And I think you're doing an amazing job and appreciate you so much. And I enjoy the meetings. So you do good, Joe.
I appreciate the kind words, commissioners, and it is a team effort. We have an engaged board, and we're all in this together. We've been saying that for years, but we really are. We're a tight-knit group in this community, and I often say, looking around that table, there's really not a problem we can't solve here in Mason County. And getting back to Commissioner Netherland's point, it's let's get that challenge in front of us and let's solve it for a change. I'm right there with you, and I'm excited to do it. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Commissioner Schutte.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Joe, fantastic presentation. I think this is probably one of the most, thorough presentations that we've gotten in quite a while from the EDC. And I think it's, your points about recompete are very well taken. And just to know that, there's still opportunities to get some of these projects that we identified funded. And the real beauty of the work that we did with recompete, and really that started with the American Rescue Plan Act, is that there is a framework here for partnerships to actually go out and get that funding. And so I'm really excited to see what the EDC decides to do in terms of staff leadership moving forward. And I think, this is going to be a top priority for whoever the next ED is. But in the meantime, you've done a fantastic job of taking the reins and being able to identify opportunities for Mason County. And as Commissioner Netherland said, I think it's going to be really pivotal for the EDC to come to us and to other government organizations, public sector organizations in the community and say, hey, this is what the private sector needs in order to be successful. This is how we can make projects work within these jurisdictions, and really being able to leverage the assets that we have in our community to drive that growth and to bring opportunity, jobs, housing, all those things to the community that we know we need. So we're your partners in this. If you need anything, feel free to give us a holler, but appreciate your time this morning. I know you have a lot on your plate.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I wanted to hit that comment you made about, what assets we have available. We met with a company last week, and the technology that they were talking to us about was just absolutely amazing. And if you know me personally, I'm quite into the tech world, and I was just absolutely excited for this. And, we started talking more about workforce and needs for this company. And when we ended up doing kind of the site visit and drove the car around and we walked out to the site, the company, the staff that were there representing, one of the things they had initially talked about was in order for them to recruit really strong and talented technical engineers to support their business and the research and develop their technology, they need to find a place where people want to live. And they basically pointed to the landscape that was around them, the Olympic Mountains, and they said this is important for us. So just that alone was encouraging for me, because Mason County has that by default. And so then as we continue to plan as a community, we need to keep that in mind. We need to protect that asset, and we need to leverage it at the same time. And I think that's a great task that we'll be up against here in the next couple of years.
Thank you, Joe. Any further questions from the commission?
Just give our thanks to Karin and Tiana as well. I know
Absolutely.
Yes. Round of applause. Thank you very much.
Hey, Mark, did you have anything you wanted to throw in real quick, or are you good?
No, I'm good. Thank you. I just appreciate Joe's leadership on this stuff, and the staff has stepped up and filled in where meetings that we've had and continue to have. So I think it's great to continue those discussions between the entities within Mason County, and it's all good.
Yes.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, guys.
Have an excellent day.
You too. Take care.
Okay, so next up, we're going to go ahead and move into our housing and behavioral health board interview. Let's see what I have here. I have Heather Kennedy. Here we come. Hi, Heather. You're muted. There you go.
Sorry.
That's
My
okay.
computer likes to auto mute all the time.
Oh, no problem. So, Heather, I want to welcome you. I appreciate you coming in today and giving us the opportunity to get to know you and to talk with you a little bit. With that, there's going to be some questions that are coming up. They're nothing that we expect a specific answer to. This is meant to give us an idea of who you are a little bit. I want to remind you, brevity is always good, so be brief. But if you feel it's something you want to extrapolate on, feel free to go ahead and do that. But again, there is no right answer. There is no wrong answer. This just gives us an opportunity. And at the very end, you'll be given an opportunity to ask us questions that may help you to make a decision. So with that being said, Commissioner Trask, if you don't mind, would you take the first one? Commissioner Schutte, the second, I'll take the third, and then we'll go on from there.
All right. Thank you, Heather. for submitting your application. That's pretty exciting. So what do you see as is the function of Mason County Housing and Behavioral Health Advisory Board?
So kind of what I think the function is to kind of see what the overall plan is and provide advice from the community members that I know or that we go out and talk to kind of bring that back to the commission board and, you know, see what we can do to kind of help identify a plan to meet homelessness or end the homelessness would be the ideal goal. But, you know, that's a big goal.
Excellent, Heather. What makes you the best candidate for this position?
So I have 19 years of strategic planning and working with homeless in my current position. I work at DSHS. I've been here for 24 years, and 19 of those years I have been focused in the community services division. I work very closely with our homeless population. I volunteer at our local homeless shelter, and then I do some local just community outreach on my own with a group of people where we go out and we visit camps and at night go downtown and kind of visit with some of our unhoused people and kind of find out where they're at and what they need as far as a community for us to be able to help them to become housed or be successful.
So, what skill set do you think that you would bring into this position?
Well, I have some strategic planning background. I'm also really highly skilled in data analysis. I love data. I do a lot of research on homelessness and other programs that are out there in other states that have proven successful. And then I think that my ability to work with our unhoused population, which I already do on a daily basis, I think that's a good skill set to have.
Thank you.
All right. This board may meet in the evenings. Will this be an issue?
No, not at all.
Do you have any conflicts of interest with the mission of this advisory board?
I do not.
All right. Here's the most exciting part of the whole meeting. Do you have any questions for us?
So I do. As part of this board, and then just in the commission as a whole, have you guys been working on a strategic plan for homelessness or to at least end homelessness in Mason County?
Commissioner Schutte serves on this, so if you don't mind, I'm going to kick it over to Commissioner
Sure.
Schutte.
Yeah, great question, Heather. So the board does work on a comprehensive strategy to address issues of housing and homelessness in the community. So we actually, I believe that's all published on our website, but we can also get you copies in advance if you'd like to review those. But and then we work closely with all of the nonprofit housing providers in the community and try to get input from them. And ultimately, this advisory board, does weigh in on how to direct those funds and make recommendations to the commission on how best to apply those funds in the community. So there is a lot of back and forth that happens at the board level that kind of gets at the heart of what's the strategy? Are we moving the needle? How do we prioritize different populations within the spectrum of housing and things like that? So I think there are plenty of opportunities there for that.
Do you have any other questions that we can help you with?
I think that was my main question that I had.
Well, Heather, we want to thank you very much for coming and joining us today. We very much appreciate you taking the time and your willingness to serve. With this here later on, probably at the end of this meeting, we'll be talking with each other and making some recommendations to move forward, and you should hear from us here shortly.
Okay, well, great. And thank you for your time.
Have a beautiful day, Heather.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, so next up is our Solid Waste Advisory Committee interview questions. With that, I currently only see one of them on here. If one of the staff can check and see what's happening with the other. If we don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and I'll be starting with Karen Rice. But commissioners, Without it, if you don't object, I'd like to add one other question, and that is question number 5, which would say, do you have any questions for us? If hearing no objection, I'm going to ask that the 2 commissioners lead off with these, and I will handle the final question. So, Commissioner Trask, if you would take number 1, Commissioner Shooting number 2, then Commissioner Trask number 3, and then Commissioner Shooting number 4, and I'll ask the final question. So, Karen, again, we want to thank you very much for coming, and we very much appreciate your willingness to step up in these times when help from the outside is always needed, and it's always appreciated. And again, we want you to understand there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer. Brevity is good, but at the same time, if you feel something needs to be explained a little bit more, you'll be more than welcome to do that. And with that, at the end, you'll be given an opportunity to ask questions of us. So with that, Commissioner Trask, please.
Hi, Karen. It's good to see you again.
Good morning. I apologize first for attending the meeting. I wasn't aware that I needed to go through the interview process first. But
people are always welcome to attend the meetings. Yeah, they're not closed.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So why are you interested in becoming a SWAC member, a Solid Waste Advisory Committee member?
I feel that as a citizen, personally, I'm curious and interested in recycling, very interested in that. And I am a retired teacher, so I have plenty of time.
Okay, excellent. Karen, what is it about your background and experience, especially in the area of solid waste, or what is your background and experience, especially in the area of solid waste, and how will they be beneficial to the SWAC?
I think, again, as a citizen, I have been recycling. My husband and I lived on a ranch for 24 years in Northern California, and we had to, it was 45 minutes from town, so we had to take all of our garbage and recyclables and any trash or anything that like metal that needed to be recycling, and we had to take it into town every month or two. And so it taught us a lot about how much stuff we have. And so I think that background, when we moved to Washington, made me want to continue recycling. And it's so much easier now living in town and having it picked up. So I guess what I'm saying is I come from different situations and understand somebody having to bring their own garbage and recycling materials in, but then I see the benefits of having it easily picked up.
All right, great. Thank you, Karen. What is your knowledge of solid waste management in Mason County?
Just a little bit. Linda Lynx is an acquaintance, and she has talked about it, and the things she's said about it made me really interested in attending, finding out more what the committee does, and so just hearing about it that way. Also, I have to say, and this isn't meant as a criticism at all, but when we first moved here, we were seeing so much trash alongside 101 that if a stronger recycling program could eliminate some of that waste, I would love to be part of just making things better. Again, it's the teacher in me. Sorry.
Okay, very good, Karen. What is your vision then for the future of Mason County's solid waste management?
Well, education, so people know why recycling is important. And again, this isn't something that I feel like I'm going to start doing. I'm just going to be, as a citizen, giving input. Also, besides education, making it easier for people to recycle, and then also making sure that people understand what the process is and what can be and can't be recycled.
So now, Karen, the exciting part. Do you have any questions for us?
I do. What is the board looking for in terms of having a citizen participate? And I don't mean, I mean you as the board members, the commissioners.
With that, Sharon serves, if you don't mind, I'd like to have her lead off with that question.
That is a great question. I love it when people participate in especially our advisory committees, but also just in public comment, public input. I know Linda gave me a call the other day talking about the garbage that was just thrown out all over Craig and Lynch. And so interaction, we can't see everything all the time, and we're not on every committee. So having our committee members reach out to us and let us know what's going on, I truly, for one, appreciate that a lot.
Wonderful.
And Karen, the first part of success is interaction with the actual people that are out there and that we represent. So it's important to have the actual voice of the people that are right there. Kevin, you want to throw anything onto that?
No, I think you both did a great job.
Do you have any other questions for us, Karen?
No, the way you answered that makes me even more excited to be part of the process. So looking forward to our next meeting.
Well, Karen, surprisingly, that is actually a spectacular group. I've been around for a long time, and we've always been surprised with actually how educated and professional and how they work together there. I can't give them enough praises, and I'm not just saying that. First time I ever saw that committee, I had a whole different expectation than what I got when we're dealing with them. So they're wonderful. Well, you have a beautiful day, and we will be getting back to you here shortly. Hope to be having a conversation shortly as commission, and then we will have somebody let you know what our decisions are at that point. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, staff, do we have the other person on the line? Because I don't see.
No, I just checked with Cammie, and the other person did not respond.
Okay. How many positions do we have open on that seat?
That I don't know. Does Loretta or Mike know?
Loretta or Mike, if you can comment, I'd be appreciated. If not, we can wait. We'll find out more later.
Okay, I'll find out.
Okay, thank you. All right. With that, commissioners, we're going to go ahead and move, unless you want to discuss it now, or would you rather wait and discuss it during our commissioner discussion time at the end of our support services?
I'm good with either way.
I think we can wait.
Yeah, I'd rather wait so we actually know how many positions are available too. Okay, so thank you. We're going to go ahead and move on next to Indigent Defense with Peter Jones. Welcome, Peter.
Hello. So I'm back here. I actually put 3 items onto the briefing, 3 different ones. One is the renewal of the contract from Tashner's office. This is a contract we've had for a while. We just kind of renew it every year. This one is a bit different in that we upgraded the insurance requirements per risk management. And so that's why you also have an insurance certification along with it. The other 2 items.
What does that mean? You updated the insurance?
The insurance requirements in the contract. Yeah. This would honestly better be handled by risk management. They requested that we include some language. We included it.
No, that makes sense. So it's a request from risk management to strengthen the language that we had with them in regards to it. Okay, I'm comfortable with that.
And
for the things that happen on their facilities.
Yeah.
So
right.
For physical injury, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm okay with that one moving forward, commissioners.
As well.
Yep.
What do you got next, Peter?
Well, last week the commission requested that I just include all of the potential other hourly upgrades, and so I've included 2. One of them is for our superior court attorneys who are, because of the thing I briefed last week, getting paid currently the same as our misdemeanor attorneys, and there's a potential for problems there. The other, and that would raise the payment for Superior Court off-contract work to 125 an hour from 100. The other one is for our investigators who have been kind of left out in we're getting some messages from them that they may just be packing up and heading to Grace Harbor County that pays them $75 an hour. And so I've included a request that we up our payment for investigators to $75 an hour as well.
Okay, commissioners, let's start with the 125 for Superior Court. Is there any questions on that for staff?
No issues with me. I support it.
No, it's good with me too.
Same here. So the next one is the increase of the hourly rate 75 for indigent defense investigators. Any questions or comments on that one?
Is it 75 or 76?
Should be 75.
Should be 75.
Yeah.
Okay, because on the contract it says 76.
If it says that on the briefing form, that's a typo on my part. And I apologize for it.
Oh yeah, no worries. No worries. I was just looking at Exhibit B on the compensation.
Yeah, if it's on the contract, you got to fix the contract, Peter.
Oh,
Yeah. Look at Exhibit B.
Exhibit B, which Exhibit B?
Exhibit B for the Superior Court.
Okay. We're talking about two different things.
Sorry about that.
But I'm pulling it up.
That one. Person.
And I could be looking at the wrong sheet also. I've been known to make mistakes. I know that's shocking, but
Yeah, but Commissioner, I'd rather let's get it right the first time. So let's measure twice. B.
So this is part of Sean Tashner's contract.
Uh-huh.
And this is the rate that they get paid if the contract is terminated and they still have cases. That is different from the 75 an hour I was talking about with regards to investigators who aren't part of Sean Tashner's contract. And so the contract stuff you have is for the Tashner contract that we're updating, not for the investigators. The investigators, you should just have a briefing sheet as to what I'm looking to do with them.
Are you comfortable with that response, Commissioner Trask?
I am.
Okay, are you comfortable with putting it on the agenda?
I am.
As am I, so that's 3.
Okay.
Anything further for us, Peter?
Not today, no.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Jones?
Actually, I would add a quick thank you to the board. Last year when we had problems hiring, it went on for a long time. This year, I already have a new deputy starting on February 16th, and I just got a second application. And so we may have both of our gaps filled within the space of the month. And the board's generosity in the union contract, as well as that hiring bonus, has clearly made a difference in the speed of applications I'm getting. And I just wanted to give a quick thank you to the board for that.
Wonderful. All right, anything for Peter? Kevin?
Thanks, Peter. Appreciate you continuing to work on these issues.
And just real quick, Peter, thank you for being active at the legislative level as well. You're doing a great job.
Trying.
All right, Peter.
Sometimes feel like I'm trying to stop a train with my bare hands, but I'm trying.
We'll get you a T-shirt with a big S on the front of it. You'll be fine.
As long as it's not a big target.
That's on our backs. All right. Thank you very much, Peter. Have a beautiful day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, so next up is public health. It says Dave Windom is leading the charge here, but I don't see him. So Melissa must be.
Actually, I'm here. So is Melissa. So you got both of us, and it is Melissa today.
Good morning, commissioners. Today I have the Housing and Behavioral Health Advisory Board's 2023 annual report. A little bit of background. This year, RFPs and contracts we'll be evaluating them to see if they'll be renewed or if we're going to do any RFPs. So this report will help identify the gaps where the advisory board recommends funding be prioritized this year. I also created a supplemental summary of our current housing and treatment sales tax contracts. I had mentioned in the past that the ultimate goal is to create a more robust, comprehensive, and interactive dashboard that we can put on our website and also have available to the public, which details the programs in a little bit more depth, talk a little bit more about eligibility, who do you contact if you want to participate in any programs. I didn't quite get that far, but the intent of this supplement that I provided in the packet is just to provide the board with a snapshot of where current funding is, so that as we bring new contracts or amendments forth in the coming year, we know that it's actually a gap that needs to be filled and not something that's currently already has robust funding for. So with that, I'm just asking for the board to review and approve the annual report and have it posted on the website.
Commissioners.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just a quick word of thanks to Melissa and Dave and their entire team at Public Health, as well as the advisory board members who worked on this. Really a thoughtful process and a lot of good dialogue, I think, between board members, and we continue to figure out, sort of in this post-COVID world, what housing is going to look like here in Mason County, and how we best work with our partners, and then ultimately how we bring in new partners into the community to do work that we might identify as a gap. And so just really appreciate all the effort. It's great to be a part of.
Wonderful. And you're comfortable with putting it on, of course.
Yep, absolutely.
Commissioner Trask.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that everything is going to be on our website. That way people can just go, they can look, they can get their questions answered. I love that we're using tools that we have and pushing that information out. So really want to thank you and the team. And yes, absolutely, I support putting it on.
I supported it as well. Thank you for all your hard work. Do you have anything else for us, Melissa?
Thank you. That is all I have today.
David, do you have anything for us?
I think that's it.
I have one thing I'd like to share with you regarding Ian. Board of Health, we went ahead and we had some questions regarding the proposals he was putting together. I wanted the commission and everybody to know that he did all the homework that was necessary. Ended up getting back a hold of me with the changes that I was worried about in regards to the plotting and stuff. And it is apparently plotting is the actual place that is, and it's been ongoing for a long time in plotting. So with that, I wanted to say thank you to Ian for all his hard work in that, and let the commissioners know that I was very comfortable with moving forward with the stuff from the Board of Health after Ian was done speaking with me. So a little outside the box, just wanted to share that. Okay, does anybody have anything else for Dave? All right, then we thank you, Dave.
Okay, thank you.
Please drive through. Don't forget your French fries. Have a nice day.
Hey, Dave, give me a call later.
Okay, so next up, we have Public Works, Loretta Swanson.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
So first up, we have a truck purchase that Mike is happy to share with you about.
Good morning. We would like to purchase a couple of F-150 pickup trucks to replace supervisor vehicles. And then we'd also like to purchase 2 F-550 trucks with plows and spreaders, also replacing existing vehicles. These are all in a Washington State contract via Sourcewell, and we are budgeted to do that.
On your F-150s, are you going to allow for plows to be on them? The Fred Meyer plows, or whatever they call them.
We have not got to that point yet. We've actually been working with the fire departments to. They have F-550s, and they've been volunteering for the pilot program to put plows on their vehicles, and so that's been well, now they're just waiting for it to snow, but that's been something that to try to multiply our forces with. So. But that is that's something. The problem with those they're just they're not really industrial. They're not really heavy. But
yeah, no, I went. I'll never forget going with Rod LaRue, and it'd be it'd be nice if they had a little better plows, but having those on those vehicles was very important. They were able to get a lot done in going out to inspect things as well. I think it's money well spent if it does become an opportunity, and I hope you do consider it, because it's been pretty nice so far, but it could always get bad in a heartbeat. So please consider that. Commissioners.
So just what happens to the old vehicles? How do they get?
Typically what we do has been my policy is to, if there's something we can hang on that gets passed down and used in another location for a short period of time, I'm okay with that. But if it's something that's been a problem, you've got maintenance, high maintenance on it, things like that, we surplus, get rid of it right away. So a couple of these vehicles that we're replacing got a couple 100,000 miles on them. They're way past their due, and they've got some problems, and so we're getting rid of them as soon as we can. If these show up.
Right. There's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that. I know it's difficult to find replacement vehicles right now.
Especially with the F-550s, they're going for a big price on open market, and so the state bids, it's very limited. We get a lot of promises. We just haven't seen it produce yet, but we're hoping.
Yeah, I think it's also a benefit for everyone to know that we use the state, go through the state bid, because it's a bigger benefit for the county.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the same goes on the surplus side, commissioners. So you may have seen MRSC advertising another option for surplusing. So we're always looking at what are those options and what is the best place to get the best return on our old equipment.
Yeah, for some reason, we seem to want to make the best decisions for Mason County, right?
We do our best.
What a concept, Commissioner. With that, did I hear 3 yeses, or was there any reservations?
It's all good with me.
Okay, that's 3 yeses.
Okay, great. Pete will go to work. And then commissioners were asking, we did receive one more fire district interlocal agreement and are asking to place that on the January 30th action agenda as well. We've got kind of a bundle that are already coming to you on the 30th.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Okay. And then let's see, just a couple of quick updates, commissioners. I sent an email, I think Ken's on here. Ken called this morning and said that he received a mailer about the SR3 freight corridor and the environmental assessment being out for review. And so just to let everyone know that that's moving forward, and sent a link that has the overall freight corridor schedule, where we are in the process, what the next steps are, and the fact that the environmental assessment is out for review and comment. So thank you, Ken, for the heads up on the mailer. And then the other thing, commissioners, you probably are aware that there was a slide that resulted in a closure of SR 106. I don't have any latest intel other than the geotech crews are out to take a look at that today, and we'll find out more about approach to solving that and schedule and all those good things. But we did, Kelly got that posted up on the Facebook page, and then also on the Public Works closures page. We typically don't post DOT type closures, but this does affect our McCreevy route. So we put that up there on the Public Works page as well.
Kevin, that being in your district, is there anything you'd like to see us do, or any issues you'd like to address immediately? Or
I think the communication has been great so far, so I really appreciate that. And then, whatever their geotech comes up with today, we'll just kind of let that determine next steps. So I know you'll keep me updated.
Okay. And I think that's it, other than Mike, you've got a quickie update on signs and lighting on Victor as well.
Yeah, we've contacted DOT about putting the street signs back up in both directions. They said that they had actually been damaged and had never replaced them. So it's on their list. We're poking, reminding them. We did meet with PUD out on site, and they've got a proposal to install a street light at the intersection. So we're going to move forward with that.
Anything further, Loretta, for us?
Just in answer to the question about SWAC openings, we do have one opening for each commissioner district.
So there is 2 openings, and so 2.
There
So-
are 3 openings. The 2 individuals who did apply were both from Commissioner Trask's district.
Okay, how long have the openings been going on?
Good question. Probably for some time.
So I guess my next question is, are we at the point where is it required that it must be from each commissioner district, or is it to endeavor to be from each commissioner district? And can we accept 2 in the same district if we have the applicants and the other ones have been vacant?
I believe I'd have to go back and look at the resolution. I don't think there's anything in RCW that requires you to have.
It
one
doesn't have
from
to be
each district.
answered today anyway, because we only had the one person apply, but or one person that we interviewed. But if they want to be interviewed in the future, it'd be nice to know if we can go ahead and appoint if they're both from Commissioner Trask's district. Better to have the seats filled than to have them empty on such an important committee. Would you agree with that, Commissioner Trask? It's your district. Yeah. Any issue with that?
You know, it's a good committee, and I think if we could spread it out so that we have them in each commissioner district, I think that would be best. But if we don't have applicants, let's work on that.
Okay.
I don't want to sound desperate or anything.
Well, and I guess that would depend on how long it's been open. So if you don't mind finding out how long it's been open and what that looks like. It's not uncommon for something to be there for 6 months, a year.
Mhm.
So it looks like Mackenzie also just emailed us that Mr. Stommer is asking to be interviewed next Monday. They had a family emergency today. So I would be fine with that. I don't have an issue. I've talked to him a couple of times. He's pretty engaged in this kind of stuff, so I don't mind waiting a week to interview.
I'm going to go ahead and jump on this one right now since we're all here. Is your request to wait on any appointment until they're both interviewed to appoint one for that district, or are you open just to maybe appointing 2 from that district? What do you think?
I thought Loretta was going to come back with more information anyway, so I didn't know that we were going to make a decision today.
We're not unless you say we are. So if you're not ready to make one, I'm comfortable not making a decision on that seat. Same with you, Commissioner Trask? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
What else you got for us, Loretta?
I think that's about it.
Do you have anything for Loretta, commissioners?
A couple of things. First up, I'm sure you were listening earlier, but I wanted to thank our road crews for going out and picking up all the garbage that was spread out. I mean, just bags of it on Lynch Road and on Cole Road. So just wanted to thank our crews for doing that, for picking up all that stuff. And I'm really hoping that there was some addresses in there so that we can go after those that dump those bags of garbage. And then second, I got a call and wanted to thank you and for helping get the lights up out there by the reservation. They truly appreciated that. They said that it's made a big difference. So thank you guys for doing that, and please pass that on.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was an easy. Thank you for PUD and quickly responding, and thanks for making the connections.
Yeah, Commissioner Trask, though that particular action has a huge impact to getting lights on these intersections, these areas is very, very important. So I agree with Commissioner Trask. It's very much appreciated for all of us. We never used to look at it back in the days before I was ever a commissioner. They used to call the tip cap the streetlight committee because that's the only thing they did. But it's not like they ever actually worked on it. They were just told where it was going. That was it. But that was their job. So anything further? Go ahead.
Oh, just a quickie. Commissioner Trask, I appreciate the kudos for the road crew and litter pickup. I'm not sure though that we actually physically did that work. That might have been the sheriff's litter control crew that completed that work. So we work hand in hand with them. Sometimes we're the ones that are doing that work. Many times it's the litter control crew that the sheriff overseas. So just want to make sure that we're given credit there as well. It's a partnership. We've got our areas that we work on and often together. So hats off to them as well.
Well, if it either way, it was picked up and truly appreciated by those that drive on those roads.
Oh, sure. And it needs to happen quickly because, as you know, it just seems to attract more. So we need to move fast on those.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Commissioner Schutte, do you have anything?
Yeah, Loretta, you had sent an email out last week with some information from the city of Bremerton and Suquamish tribe.
Yes.
And you were looking at a briefing date on February 5th, I think.
Yes.
Has that been communicated back to them?
I believe so, but I will make sure that that's the case. Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure that we're.
Yeah, there was a flurry of what are we doing and when and what date. So yes, I want to circle back with Mark after this and make sure we're all on the same page about what, when, and who.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
If that's all right, commissioners.
Yep.
Okay.
Commissioner Schutte, do you have anything else?
I do not.
Okay, I got a couple little things. One, Ken, thanks for the heads up. Loretta, we need to have communications with them to find out how come we're not getting that heads up that's coming from the citizenry. I'd like to make sure if we can that we have that information and not have to rely on the citizenry to get it to us if we can.
Agreed. Apparently Kel just got an email from DOT's environmental coordinator. So yeah, we were a little late to the party.
Yeah.
Just the start of this briefing, I've gotten 3 emails from DOT on this item.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're watching, but it is funny.
Also, Loretta, I'd like to have a conversation with you. I'm going to be meeting with you here shortly anyway, but I'd like to have a conversation with you regarding parking and parking issues. I have a street in Belfair proper that over the years we put a lot of retail right there off of Belfair Street, and it's become the wild, wild west. I've gone out there myself. It's not just we've got a citizen that is complaining, but aside from that, I was out there for an event, and they end up parking on an area that should be no parking. And they even double up going out into the street, making it impassable. And they literally will leave the car there, get out of their car and go. I would like to find out what it would take to make an area like that, no parking, perhaps no parking tow-away zone for safety, what processes we have to go through. It'd be up to the commission, I'm sure, but I'm just getting the start on it for the heads up to figure out what it looks like.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, that's all that I have. Then we thank you very much, and you guys have a great day. Next up, support services, Mark Neary.
Thank you, Commissioner Netherland. This is first jumping off with TJ. TJ, you on to talk
No,
about
he's actually in Belfair, I found out.
Oh, okay.
So
do you want to talk about that or?
Sure. So what we're bringing forward is an artificial intelligence usage policy. We've ran it through the IT steering committee, but with AI becoming more popular, it was highly recommended from MRSC that we have some kind of basic policy in place. So this is something we're asking to place on the agenda for approval to place it into the personnel policies.
I can tell you that this is a huge topic out there right now. And the training I was at last week, there was a number of classes talking about the risk and rewards associated with AI. And I was pleasant to learn that a lot of the recommendations that TJ has put into this policy are really industry standard type recommendations that are given out to all different types of organizations.
Commissioner Schutte, you serve on the committee. Do you have any objections or issues with this?
No, a lot of good work went into this at the IT steering committee, and thanks to TJ and Ben and Diane and everybody there that went back and forth on this over a few meetings. I don't think any of it. I mean, I think this is a good starting point. I think like AI is going to continue to evolve over time, and we're going to see it being applied more and more. So the policy in that same way is probably going to be changed over time as we learn and adopt more opportunities to utilize AI. But I think this is a great starting point and a place that we can work from. We know people are using it in the county, and so we want to be able to make sure that we're using it appropriately.
And I also agree and look forward to putting it on the agenda.
Thank you.
So I do have one question. The effective date says 12/7/23.
Yeah, we'll update that. And actually, I've talked to Mary and she has a few more updates for the personnel policy. So she'll just include it in her next update.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to Jen. Treatment sales tax requests.
Good morning, commissioners. So the treatment sales tax, we're actually pushing that forward to February 12th because I need to work with the clerk's office to get their billing for 2023 correct. So part of what I'm going to be briefing on is who billed and who did not. So we have OPD and the clerk's office that didn't complete their billing in 2023. And so I've received OPD's billing for quarters 1, 2, and 3 of 2023. And so, yeah, the clerk's office, I still need to work with them to get that. So hoping to get that soon and be ready to brief that on the 12th. So I'll be bringing that back. So the next thing, or what I have for you today, is the ARPA update. And I'll share my screen if you want, so we can go over that.
Jen, I just was going to add a quick clarification on that treatment sales tax. I found myself sometimes getting confused with monies that we receive from the state to cover treatment court and treatment sales tax, two different things, but same departments and offices within the county that provide Jen that information. So this is specific, excuse me, to treatment sales tax.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. And yeah, I think that's what the clerk's office was confused about also. And I didn't know that either. So yeah, we'll work through that and bring something back. Okay, so on the ARPA funds, so we have we have received about 12,900,000. And we have expended through the end of 23. We've expended 8,500,000, and this is actually I found a couple little errors in here this morning, so I'll correct that. But it's $8,560,057.55. So we have approximately 4.4 million left to spend of ARPA funds. An update on some of the projects. So we received updates from everyone. We received Public Works updates on Thursday or Friday. And so those weren't included in the packet, but the Belfair Sewer Extension project is, it looks like they're going to send in documentation for the 1.5 million April 1st. So that is about complete. And then the Beards Cove project has not started. And the Belfair Sewer Log Yard Road design has not started, but those are expected to be done before the end of this year. So
so there's no risk of our timeframes of it not getting done then, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think that there is a risk there, but
Well, that's what I'd like to hear, Jennifer. What is your concern?
well, just because they haven't started yet. I mean, Mark might have a better idea since you are in better communication with Public Works on these projects. Do you think that there's a risk of them not being done and us needing to re-obligate?
We actually have Loretta on. We could ask the source herself. I think no matter how Loretta responds to that question, I do think it's something that we need to continue to keep on our radar and monitor, and those items that don't get obligated by our deadline, whether they're internal projects or external projects, by June of 2024, we need to be very clearly communicating with those individuals that money needs to be reallocated.
I agree with that heavily. Commissioners, we've had conversations on this over and over again. Are we all still on the same page in agreement with that statement?
Yeah, I am. I think we need to stay on top of this because we have an obligation not just to, well, we have an obligation, period, to make sure that we're doing this effectively and efficiently. So, yeah, let's definitely keep on top of this. Do we want to put or do we already, I can't remember, do we already have a deadline as to how, when we need an update and whether or not those funds are, I guess, where we're at, basically?
So I do think that we need to decide. So we have some projects that are complete, some projects that came in under, some money left over, or some projects that may not be able to get done. I do think that we need to set a date for the commissioners to understand what is the total amount associated with that, and what is the process that you'd like to go through for additional requests if other entities or other county offices and departments have requests for use of those funds.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I thought is we hadn't actually set. We discussed some timeframes, but we've never actually set it. Perhaps we can have Jennifer go back and actually come back with us next week with an actual request for timeframes and how that process would look like. Is that too early to ask for you to bring that to us, Jennifer?
For next week, I mean, I can try to have something.
If you need 2 weeks, we can do that.
Yeah, 2 weeks might be a little bit better, a little more realistic.
Commissioner Schutte, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think 2 weeks is fine. I think give Jen some time to work on it is great.
Commissioner Trask?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll send you back, Jennifer, and please come to us with propositions that you would like for us to consider to move forward to bring a close to these things and solidify dates and give us options for the new programs and how we should look at it and when we should look at it.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, and running through our completed projects. Well, first I'll run through some of the open projects that aren't completed. Okay, so we have the Mason County, the property tax arrearages. We have about close to 30,000 of obligated funds left, and I don't think those will be expended. But again, we'll check with our treasurer, Lisa, and make sure that is a true statement. The Youth Connection, we've obligated 722,000, and we actually fronted that money, and they've purchased the building, and I think it was the elevator. They're not sure if they're going to need an amendment to the contract to extend the date. We've written in June 30th as the end date for all of our outside contracts, or most of them, just so that we have a little bit of time to re-obligate. But I think that one, I mean, we've already given them the money. They just need to spend it. So
Yeah, I received a call, and I don't know if the other commissioners, I assume they did as well. I do believe they are going to get it all done within the time frame that's needed for our ARPA funds. It just may be a little bit of an extension between the from what we wanted from them originally to get done in the time frame we wanted to get it done in. I myself, I don't see any issue with that if they wanted to come forward with it, but I'd be curious if the other commissioners have any other worries or concerns regarding that.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Terry Drexler about this a couple of weeks ago, and I think part of their challenge is like what we all deal with on projects is just finalizing some engineering and the permitting process and the back and forth there. So I'm not concerned that they won't expend the money before the program runs out at the end of 26 or in 26. But I do think that they might need an extension before our June deadline of this year. So that's something I would be open to, just because I think they've been responsive and proactive on things. But I think they have to figure out a few things on their side and then make that ask.
Yeah, I appreciate Terry. She's reached out and kept, I think, all of us updated, and so I have no concerns with that one at all.
So commissioners, I'd rather not do things under the gun. Can we go ahead and ask for them to put together an extension now, and so we have plenty of time to get it into place?
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I think that Kate's been reaching out, and Terry has also been reaching out with Kate. So I think that line of communication, I think that she would be very open. Both of them, Kate and Terry.
yeah, Terry has been great at responding. So that's been really nice to have that open line of communication. So you want to extend that contract to December 31st of 24?
If that's a request, I'm comfortable with that. Commissioner Schutte?
I mean, I think whatever they want. I mean, I don't know what I think that's why I think they should generate the request and have us consider it.
Yeah. So can you ask, and I'll agree with that, can you ask them to go ahead and put together their request, and then, but to do it, go ahead and do it now with the idea that we are open to the idea. We'd just like to get things done instead of having to do it at the last minute.
Yeah, we'll definitely reach out and ask for them to suggest a date. And just as a reminder, after that date, we won't be able to re-obligate those funds. So we're really putting our faith in there that
But Jennifer, not necessarily. I want to go back to something I requested in the very beginning we were doing this, and I know Mark understood what I was asking, and I think he agreed with me at the time that we need to over allocate those funds with projects that we already have internally, so that we can guarantee that we can utilize them for them. And if not, we're already going to do it internally, so it's not a big issue if it's our own projects.
yeah, we'll have to talk about that maybe on the side, because I'm not sure how that would work to over allocate, because we have to have the projects balanced in the ARPA system, in the Treasury system. So I'm not sure how we would do that.
Yeah, maybe we can look at it into it. We'll have further discussions with Mark. I know, as I said, Mark was considering it at the time. So are you comfortable having that discussion sidebar, Mark?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that what Jen's bringing up is a very valid point, is that what we report to the feds, I think quarterly, we're required to report or give them updates. They have very specific process that you go through to kind of document the specific projects you funded and the status of those projects. Having some, we could talk about it offline, but I think having some projects in the wings that we could reallocate or award ARPA monies to would be not a bad idea.
Okay. All right. What else you got, Jennifer?
Oh, and Mark, you're talking between July and December of 24, right? To reallocate.
Yep. Okay.
So PUD1 Viewcrest, they may need an extension until September 30th of 24 is what they've said. We've allocated 750,000 there. And We went over.
Back up a little bit. I'm seeing the one on the Belfair Water. We're saying that it's now 100% funded and set to be complete for the Belfair Water new well. I understand that there's some things that are coming up on that may not be accurate anymore. I'm not sure. I met him in the store and he made some comments, so we might want to double check on that. I
Okay.
wanted to let you know on the Port of Allen, so I've been actively over there and helping them. And they are in the process of getting everything through. The Sam's Gov type thing has really been an issue for them, but it is every time anybody gets into it. The problem they have is some of the stuff is from almost like the beginning and the information doesn't jive, but their person is getting everything together, going step by step, and it's taking a little time, but they will get there on the Sam Gov thing. Other than that, everything is being set to close. They have some extensions for parts of it, but they're prepared to do what's needed to finish this as well. I very much appreciate the working relationship they're having with Jeff on that. I was surprised how good it is. And as a realtor, the stuff I've seen has been very solid. So I wanted to share that also.
Okay, great. Yeah, I knew they were having trouble with the sam.gov number, but once they get past that, then we can, get through that. So I wasn't too worried about that. The new well for the Port of Allen.
As far, can I give a quick update on Belfair Water, Jen?
Yeah.
So I did meet with Mr. Webb a couple weeks ago, and we went over his projects and the status of those projects and the funding that we've provided on those projects. He is either spent or is expected to spend. He has additional requests that he would like to turn in to the county to get some additional funding. And so I told him that the commissioners may be entertaining additional requests in the future, and that if he could provide us that information, we'd definitely hold it in the queue and present it to the board when the time came.
And that's the same as I said, is I believe that if it's different than your original request, it has to go through the process. There is no just moving it. We've actually been very strong, except for I see in the very beginning of this, we did move some monies in the beginning. But after that, we started stopping that and started with the idea of reallocating through a process. And that's why as well.
And the money that we've awarded him out of the ARPA funds, my understanding with my conversation with him, Commissioner, was that he was going to spend all of that, and it was within the next couple of months, all of those things should be completed, and he'll turn in those receipts. He had additional requests above and beyond what we originally awarded, and those are what I asked him to turn in, and that we'd let him know.
And I think it's actually on the new well for Belfair Water.
Okay.
That's why I brought that up when it says the project is 100% funded. I think there was it was not. So we may have to reconsider in the future.
So the project had a number of different funding sources associated with it. The money that we gave him out of ARPA funds, he is able to apply to the costs he's already incurred. I think they actually had to go deeper on the well potentially. And so he incurred some additional costs, and those are what, if he wants to ask for those, that's a separate process.
And that's what I understood also.
Cool.
All right, thank you. What else you got, Jennifer?
Okay, so the housing authority, so the funds were supposed to be returned by the end of the year. No action was taken. Mark talked to George Blush, and I'll let you give the update, Mark, since you talked to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I talked to George a couple weeks ago about the status of this, and the housing authority is in the process of selling one of their properties, and he said as soon as he receives the funds, he would be able to pay the county back for any remaining ARPA funds. Now, I did mention to him at the time, and I've read some current minutes from Housing Authority Board meetings, that it looks like they're still continuing to spend on what, just from reading the minutes, I would assume would be eligible expenditures, but we've not received any additional information associated with that. And so the amount that we're asking for in return is specific to the amount that we gave them, plus what we were able to verify in expenditures. We have not received any additional information and continue to try and receive that from them. So as it stands right now, the request that we had for them to repay in ARPA funds is actually the same dollar amount, has not changed. And he said as soon as they get the proceeds from the sale of that property, that he was going to pay the county back.
And I got off the phone with him also last week with the same question. And from the understanding I have is that the slowdown is with HUD itself. As they're going through processes, and when HUD is done, then it closes. So that's where it's at right now. And I may be being asked to make a phone call to HUD. I did in the past that finally broke money loose. So we'll see what happens on this one, if I'm needed or not.
Yeah, and I don't know if you got an updated date, Commissioner Netherland, but I think that it was when I talked to him, it was the end of this. So like within the next couple of days, he was expecting to get the proceeds.
Yeah, no, when I don't have the date, but when I talked to him, this had just occurred a few weeks ago or a week ago, where HUD has wants more stuff all of a sudden. That's been something with them. That's how it works. What happens in HUD is they've got so many different departments, and they don't actually always work together. And so when this one's doing this one's doing that, then another one just drops something completely new over the top. But I don't think that's any surprise for any of us here. But that's one of the things that they're dealing with. But HUD has put a slow roll for, I think it's at least a few more weeks or so, if not a little longer. But I know that it's also depends on when some of it gets taken care of, and they're entering into a contract with somebody to actually go and help them to finish that. That's what I understand. But the last meeting wasn't an actual meeting. It was there was no quorum. So nothing happened then. This was a conversation when I was asking questions last week.
I will reach out to George and see if he has any updates for me then.
Please.
I know their chair has been very sick, their new chair.
Yes.
So that could be stalling some of the conversations as well.
I think we're talking hospital sick at one point, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I want to be clear on this, because I continue to just be kind of blown away by how this is all played out. Like, again, we're like waiting for them to sell a building in order to repay money that we gave them. Money that they can't justify or provide, or can't be bothered to provide reporting for, that allegedly they're still spending. And like, we're waiting on a real estate transaction to pay this money back. Like, I can't believe that this is something that we would continue to entertain without putting the taxpayers' interests first and allowing all of these excuses and feet dragging and just it's completely bizarre to me that this is acceptable to staff to allow this to continue to happen, that we at the commission level would somehow enable this. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, how many letters, how many conversations, how many, well, it's coming, gotta wait on this sell. Like, why is that acceptable for all of you?
Well, I'll ask you, what is the other option?
I think we should be talking to SAO. I think we should be talking to legal. I think we should be taking a complete look at what has actually transpired here. I mean, you're ex officio on that board. You claim to have not been a part of the real estate transactions. I don't understand.
That's not accurate. You said that before too. There are parts of it that I did know about. There were parts that I did not know about. When it was given to us on a meeting, I was not aware of some of that or how that was going, and I was not party to any of that, but there were parts that I was later, and also some of in the beginning. When I first became on that board, one of the things we had talked about was whether or not they should be the ones to even have some of these properties, because we did not want it as the county. The opportunity was that they were going to close, that we didn't want to be landlords. And so all that was a conversation that happened a long time ago, not just now. But as for the other, if you want to, meet with legal to have it, then I have no issue with you calling for a session and having that discussion.
And commissioners, just to clarify, I have been in touch with Tim Whitehead, and we were going to ask for a meeting, and Mark offered to reach out instead, and I ran that by Tim as well. And he said, yes, that is just fine. Just make sure he documents his conversation. So that's how that went down. And so Tim is aware of this and is willing to have that meeting or to call for that meeting. So just wanted you to be aware of that.
That's fine, but I think we're missing the point here too, which is, again, if they can't justify how they've spent this money or prove that they've spent this money, then either it's in that account and should just be wired back to us, or they don't have it, they can't account for it, and now we have to sell a building in order to pay us back. Like, that's the problem. That's what worries me about this. And I don't know what our responsibilities or liabilities are in terms of, you know, having granted this money out, but like there's also a bigger picture community taxpayer accountability issue, I think, that's at stake here. You know, I mean, it don't look good at best. And I get that we have relationships with people who are on that board and who have been making decisions. And maybe this is something we don't want to tread into, or we're worried about it. But like at the end of the day, we're looking for like $450,000 of taxpayer money, and we can't find it. And they have to sell a building in order to repay it. So like if everybody's comfortable with that, just say it, that's fine. But otherwise, we can't continue to have phone conversations and hope that this money somehow shows back up, because that's a tremendous loss to our community.
What I will say, Commissioner Schutte, is it's not that anybody's comfortable with it, but on December, the end of December was the time that was given for them to handle it. We're looking at a month later. If you've known of any other process where we've been able to do all the things you're talking about, just be a hammer to make something like that happen, let me know. But I've never known anything that we can do in that quick of a process. We're going through a process to get it. It's not personal relationships. As a matter of fact, we need it done. We need it finished off. And I don't think any commissioner would say anything different. The question is how does it happen? It's been literally a month since we give them the opportunity to close it out. And that's just how things work. If you have another way, like I said, I'd be happy to meet in executive session and we can have legal and look at those other options. But right now, by the time they do all that, you're still going to be in the same situation. So it doesn't happen overnight, even if we don't like how it's working or I don't like how it's working. The other option, how do you get the money? So I just want it paid back personally.
Great. Well, I look forward to having another conversation in a few weeks when we hear about more phone calls and asking for the money. So I'm excited to hear about all the progress we're going to make through this process.
Yeah, Commissioner Schutte, I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, I went through all the minutes back to October of 2022, and this has been going on for quite a while. And I've got grave concerns, and I think it's great. I know that Jen's been in contact with the secretary, the state auditor's office, and the state auditor's office has also had some difficulties reaching out to them to try to for contact information and other things. So this is a huge concern for me. I think we've expressed it in the past as well. It's trying to figure out how to keep them accountable, keep them transparent. That's my concern. So moving forward, I don't know. I would love to talk with Tim also about what our options are.
I can go ahead and set that up.
Great.
Okay, Jennifer, what else you got?
Okay, so on the completed ARPA funded projects, so we have the Mason County utility arrearages. The amount $21,675 at the end of December. They have expended out $10,914 in January, so we have $10,761 remaining there. So I'm not sure if that really belongs on the completed ARPA projects or not. So I'll reach out to Lisa and to Public Works and see if they have any that they're thinking would apply here. But other projects that are completed that have leftover funds, we have the Hood Canal customer arrearages 87,261 left. The prosecutor's office, the second floor expansion, 36,576. The jail elevators and doors, 6,409. Mason County IT infrastructure, backbone storage, $163. And then pump stations 1 and 3, I believe it was 19,194 roughly there. And then crossroads, 8,261. So altogether, we have right now on the completed projects, including the 10,761 from the utility arrearages, 168,625 is what we have left over available to obligate, or we have the administrative time that we didn't fully fund through ARPA. So anyway, that's the amount that we have from those completed projects. We'll bring you another update on those projects that may not be complete by the June of 24 deadline in a couple of weeks. And other than that, that's all that I have. Hopefully we'll be getting that housing authority money back. We gave them $750,000 and they've proven $281,561. So they owe at this point, unless they can prove that it was expended according to the contract, $468,439. So that's all I have, unless there's any questions or comments.
Hey, Jen, can you tell me if, so I know we gave them $100,000. I'm talking about the housing authority for arrearages, rent arrearages.
Yes.
Did we get confirmation, the confirmation we needed to make sure that was spent for the rent arrearages also?
Yeah, we already received confirmation of that, and we've been audited on that. That happened, I believe, at the end of 22.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You know, some of these monies that sit in customer accounts for arrearages, we still require the customer to come and request the funds. So we've talked with individuals about that. We've told them now that the timeline associated with COVID continues, is, you know, as long as we could tie it back to that initial period, what it was intended for, I think that would work. My concern about that is that we can't just satisfy the debt without the information or the request from the customer. So I do think there is going to be a period of time where we're going to have to kind of cut it off and say, you hadn't requested it as of this date. So now we're going to move these funds back into the pool to redistribute.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, so that'll be part of what we bring back in a couple of weeks.
What else do you got, Jen? Anything else on that?
That's all that I have on this as of today. We'll be submitting the quarterly report in the Treasury through the end of the year. So that's all completed. Kate did an awesome job on that. I just have to go in and submit it, and then that part is done, the quarterly report. So that's all I have. Thank
Anybody
you.
have any questions for Jen on the ARPA? No? Okay, what else we got?
Next item is update from Mary on lead worker pay.
Morning. We have a contract in place with Teamsters Local 252 representing Community Family Health. Our contract is from 2023 to 2026. This agreement doesn't have the same provisions for lead pay as our other contracts or the personnel policy. So we're looking to rectify that through an MOU, which the language would essentially reflect that whatever's in the personnel policy regarding status and compensation would be how the contract follows.
And it's always good policy to have everything the same as what you have in your regular personnel policy. So that's wise. I have no issue. Anybody have any issue or questions on this?
Nope, none.
Good. Thanks, Mary.
The second item I have is the conversion of one of our HR analyst positions to an administrative assistant two, based on a change in the scope of work and then update in our departmental needs. The big one being all our contracts are kind of on a new path and how we handle it before expiration dates. I think that this would be a cost savings to the county and then in efficiency when we're using our consulting services. They can just access the information faster. They have it on file, and they're extremely efficient and a better use of our funds. The position's been comped at a range 16 on the non-rep scale, and would be in a non-exempt status. So I would like to have approval to move the position forward for conversion and add it to the non-rep scale.
Commissioner Schutte?
Yeah, great idea, Mary. This is a great evaluation of your staff and what your office really needs to be successful. So completely support moving forward.
Commissioner Trask?
Agreed.
Same here.
And that's all I've got. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mary. Last item on there is just a quarterly report to kind of show you the documents that I've signed off on, and would be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Want to take a minute to look through them, or everybody already looked?
I've already reviewed it. Looks great.
Commissioner Schutte?
Yeah, it looks fine to me too.
As does me.
The only one that I would want to point out would be the Granicus Net 30 purchase of 5 terabytes of storage for GovQA public records request. This is an item that was under the $50,000 limit, but as you can tell, it had to be done by the end of the year, so 12/11/2023. And so all the other ones, Mackenzie's kind enough to put your decision numbers next to them so you can see and the public can see that most of those items go through the board.
Yeah, I love that we're using GovQA for our public records requests. I don't know if people understand this, but they can go to our website and click to see what's been requested and the information that was shared with the requester. And they're not tiny.
So I don't have any more updates for you.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have anything for Mark? Okay, the next up is commissioner discussion on that. Let's go ahead and talk about this citizen for Housing and Behavioral Health Advisory Board. We had one person interview, and that was Heather Kennedy. Where are we at on that? Commissioner Schutte, you serve on that committee. Where are you at on that one first?
I would be comfortable appointing Heather.
Commissioner Trask?
Yep, as would I.
As would I. So please, staff, let her know. The second one, we were only able to interview one. We have a second person interview. They live in the same district. We're waiting for more information to find out how long they've been out there on the ask. And then on top of that, we will be interviewing the second person on next week's agenda. So with that, it's been agreed, if I understand it, that we will hold off on any determinations on this till we get further information, have the second interview, and then we will discuss what to do at that point. Did I understand it clearly?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's all I got with that one. Now we're up to commissioner discussion. Commissioners, do you have anything you'd like to discuss?
Well, on here we have the coroner's purchase of the cooler storage racks and lift.
Sorry about that. I thought that'd be under Mark. Mark, what do you got on that? Is that you, or are we waiting?
Well, I've got documentation of what you discussed in your last meeting. I think that there are some questions about whether we replace another cooler. Jamie had came to the commissioners and asked for additional money to buy some storage racks that would allow her to effectively utilize the space that she has in the current location. And I think that there was some discussion about the potential for having a cooler in North Mason County that could be utilized by the coroner's office. I can tell you my interpretation of the discussion and the conversations with Jamie, just from what I read, it sounded like Jamie really wasn't prepared to put another cooler up there, and felt like if she had the racks in the current cooler, that she would have adequate space unless something changed, and then she would look at opportunities to have something up in North Mesa at our other location. With that comes obviously some security requirements and where we would place it and how it would be accessed by
Mark,
them.
was that a different conversation, or were you basing it from the one we had? The one we had, she was in favor of it. The question that was only left was just where to place it. I thought we already agreed to go with the expenditures and stuff. So have you had conversations with her since where she's changed that, or?
Oh boy,
Mark,
no, I
can
didn't.
handle that
I completely misread that then. I apologize.
Oh,
So that's
Yeah,
what
she even
just
explained why it would be good to have it up there with the things that are happening. What I think the commission asked for, go ahead, Sharon.
Thank you. I reached out to our coroner because I wanted clarification. And so I think the reason this is on here is probably because of my conversations with Jamie. Right now, she said that her biggest concern is just getting more racks for this cooler here. Those additional extra spots on those racks would help her with it now. There's some concerns as to placement of the cooler, the personnel to be there, because if a cooler is broken into, then that chain of custody, there's so much to it.
I know.
I don't want to get in the weeds, but
Just saying that is enough to make it. Yeah, see, Mark too.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, typically her, I don't know whether you call them clients or not, Jamie. We'll have to ask Jamie what she calls them. But anyway, the bodies that are in the coolers they're not. There's probably some suspicion. There's a reason why she has them and the morgue doesn't at that point in time. So there's liability issues on her part to keep the area secure. So at this point in time, really, she would just like to have the racks.
Because she explained it was evidence, but right now, and I think that's what we did is we said that we were good the last time with getting the racks, and the other part was to hold off until they decided how they want to do it, if there's location and security. That's what I understood we did in the last meeting.
Yeah,
but the racks and everything were okay, that we told her to go ahead and.
Yep, just the racks.
Yeah.
I think another challenge, and maybe I read this in an email thread between Commissioner Trask and Jamie, so I apologize. I read both some emails and then some notes that were taken on the last meeting, but I think another challenge that Jamie is having is that the funeral homes are not picking up their customers in a timely manner because they require the families to pay up front prior to them taking the body into their custody. And so I know that that's been a challenge, or at least I read that had been a challenge, but I will definitely reach out to Jamie and get a better understanding of what her needs are in North Basin and what ideas or opportunities she thinks might exist up there. And I can come back to the board with that.
And we were still all okay with her getting the equipment that she felt was necessary, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So the additional racks for sure, we can get that. And then I'll talk to her about where we would locate the cooler up north and how she would manage that, and I can come back to the board just because I'm not familiar with that right now, Commissioner Netherland.
Well, actually, that's what you said. That's what I thought we were. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
If they don't find a space, Kelly was going to go look at that. If they don't find a space that doesn't feel secure, then why would we do it? Commissioner Trask already gave me the willies with what she said. I can't even imagine that. Here's the interesting thing up there where I'm at. There's a good possibility of something like that. You just never know. Remember they stole that van with all the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's possible. Have we put this one to bed, commissioners?
So just to be clear, we are just buying additional racks for the coroner's office in Shelton.
Correct.
That's what I understand. Okay, any further commissioner discussion? Always the light in the party there, Commissioner Trask.
Oh, that's funny, Commissioner.
I will entertain a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. If there's no objection, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.